Okay, good morning again, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is that you are watching this video. This lecture video is the continuation of the one I uploaded earlier as additional or support material, supplementary material to our module in facilitating child-learner teaching entitled Self-Concept and Self-Efficacy. So ito po yung karugtong. I'd just like to remind everybody regarding our module objectives. For this particular module, our objectives are as follows. First, to differentiate self-concept, self-esteem, and self-efficacy from each other. Explain how self-concept and self-efficacy and self-efficacy influence academic performance, and lastly, discuss how self-concept and self-efficacy can be promoted inside our classrooms. So, this time we're going to talk about self-efficacy because we have already finished discussing the first concept na yung self-concept. Natapos na natin siya doon sa isang video. So here we will talk about the remaining topic, which is all about self-efficacy. This construct was originally propounded or advocated by Albert Bandura. And in 1986, he gave us his definition of self-efficacy. It is the belief in one's capabilities to organize and execute the sources of action required to manage prospective situations. So first, self-efficacy is a belief. Isa siyang paniniwala. Paniniwala sa ano? Belief regarding what? It is a belief in our ability to do something. It is our belief whether we can do something or not. It is our belief whether we can give desired or expected results. Yan. That's self-efficacy. So, if self-concept is our picture of ourselves, the different aspects of our personality as we have discussed before, kung ano yung tingin natin sa ating mga sarili bilang tao, bilang mga individuals, ito namang self-efficacy is our belief. Yung ating paniniwala sa ating kakayahan na gawin ang isang bagay. Yan. It is our belief about our capabilities to produce designated levels of performance that influence over events that affect our lives. In the same way that our self-concept affects or influence our behavior, self-efficacy also influences or affects our behavior. They affect or influence the events that will eventually determine what we will do and the kind of motivation that we will have to do it. The level of energy, the level of commitment, the level of dedication that we will give a task depends largely to our self-efficacy. As you will see shortly in the slides to follow. Self-efficacy, as we have just said, determines how people will do something. It affects our behavior. It influences our actions. So self-efficacy beliefs determine how we first feel. Think, how we motivate ourselves, how we behave, and of course these beliefs will produce diverse effects through 4 major processes which we will discuss afterwards. So sabi nga natin kanina, self-efficacy, meaning our belief in ourselves to do something. Yung ating paniniwala, yung ating belief sa ating kakayahan will determine how we will feel particularly about a task. Kung ang isang bagay na, isang trabaho na binibigay sa atin ay mahirap, but we think that we are capable of doing it, then we will feel positive about the task. Kaya ko ito. Kasi magaling ako eh. Yun, yung expression na magaling ako. That is an expression of high self-efficacy. Meaning his belief in himself that he can do a task is high. Pero pag sinabi niyang, hindi ko ito kaya kasi mahina ako. The expression, mahina ako, hindi ko ito kaya kasi mahina ako. That expression is an indication of low or poor self-efficacy. Meaning he does not have much confidence in himself. He does not have much confidence that he can do this task. Mababa ang level ng kanyang self-efficacy. Mahina ang kanyang paniniwala sa kanyang kakayahan. So that will also feel or determine how he would feel a certain task. So a task can be a sort of enjoyment for somebody. Kasi nga, may assignment si ma'am. Problem sa math. Mukhang mahirap pero alam kong mag-enjoy ako dito. Kasi kaya ko ito, magaling ako eh. So you see? Or, may assignment na naman sa English. Essay writing na naman. Sa durunganing bang budot ako mag-English? Sa durunganing budot, nagbubo ako sa grammar. Tsaka sa vocabulary. Pakapasoyat pa essay kaleong teacher na. So you see? How we feel about things, particularly about tasks, is determined largely by our belief on our capability to perform or do or carry out that task. Yung paniniwala sa ating kakayahan, whether it's high or low, whether positive or negative, that is our self-efficacy, which also influences how we think. So kapag ang isang tao ay nabigyan ng isang mahirap na problema, and he thinks highly of his capability to solve such problem, he will generate solutions. He will generate solutions to that problem. He will really think hard. Kaya ko ito eh. Kasi magaling ako eh. Do you see? Ay kung ang tingin sa sarili ay mahina, surrender ka agad, ayoko na. Ang hirap pala ng 3 times 5. Pauli nga kong tumanomit kamote. You see? How we motivate ourselves. Yung level of motivation, level of commitment, level of dedication will also be affected by our belief in our capability. Yan yung tinatawag na self-efficacy. If I believe in my capability to do something, then I will be committed to it until the work is done, until it is finished, because I know that I can do it, because I believe that I am more than good enough. I have the capability to do it. See? Eh kung mahina ang tingin sa sarili, mahina ang tingin sa kanyang kakayahan, walang motivation. Nako, bagsak na naman ako sa quiz kanina. Hindi na ako mag-aral. I will drop, I will quit, I will stop going to school. Kasi mahina naman talaga ko bobo ko So you see, walang motivation. There is no drive. There is no push for him to work, to strive, and to finish the job. Because his belief in his capability to perform that job, to finish that job, to do that job is very low. His level of self-efficacy is very poor. So yun ang resulta. Walang resulta na maayos. Walang motivation He feels negatively about the job, about the task. He thinks about it in a negative way. So ang resulta, puros negatibo lahat. Yun nga, bagsak. Yan. Self-efficacy will also influence to a great extent our behavior, the way we behave. Di ba nga, yung paniniwala natin sa ating sarili, it determines how we behave. Ma'am, ako nang gagawa niyang task na yan. Kaya ko yan. Kasi magaling ako sa isip niya. See? Ay kung mahina ang tingin sa sariling kakayahan, naghahanap si ma'am ng, halimbawa, sino ang pwedeng maging leader? The pupil, the student who thinks poorly of his abilities, mababa yung kanyang level ng self-efficacy, hindi mapipresentar. Magtatago ngayon sa likod ng malaki niyang classmate. Pare, makakoveran ako, baka tawagan ako ni ma'am. So you see, kasi wala siyang ganun. Bakit ganun ang kanyang behavior? Why did he manifest that kind of behavior? Simply because he does not believe in himself. He does not believe in his capability to perform the task of a leader. Mababa yung kanyang level of self-efficacy. And so therefore, he has very low confidence about his ability to perform the task. That is how self-efficacy belief determine how we feel, how we think, how we motivate ourselves, and how we behave. At dahil iba-iba ang ating approach sa ating because we have different levels of self-efficacy, our actions produce different or diverse effects. Through major processes, these effects are arrived at through major processes. So sa papanong paraan nangyayari na ang efficacy ay nakaka-epekto sa ating behavior, how we feel, how we think, motivate ourselves. So first, these processes are, enumerate nga pala muna, masyado excited. Cognitive, meaning cognitive processes, motivational processes, affective processes, and lastly we have selection processes. So let's go back to the first one. Let's talk about this one by one. Cognitive processes. As already mentioned in our previous discussions, the word cognitive refers to thinking, no? Cognition means thinking. So cognitive processes are processes that pertain to thinking, mental processes. Okay. So the effects or the influence of self-efficacy on mental processes or cognitive processes may come in different forms. Iba-ibang kanyang anyo. Human behavior, no, the way we behave, is purposive. Meaning we do something for a specific purpose. There is an objective for things we do. There is a specific aim. There is a specific purpose. Kaya our behavior is purposive. And it is regulated by forethought. Parang ganito lang Why is a person walking? Halimbawa, nakita ko si Juan. Juan na naman. Sana walang Juan sa atin. Baka magalit palagi ng example. Bakit at naglalakad si Juan? Naturally, meron siyang purpose. He's going somewhere. He's going to the market. He's going to school. He's going to visit his girlfriend. He's going to buy stuff from the market. He's going to do something. Or maaaring walang pupuntahan pero nag-exercise naman. Di purpose pa rin yun. Meron ba namang taong gagawa ng isang bagay na walang purpose? Naglakad lang ng walang purpose. Saan ka pupunta? Wala. Nag-exercise ka ba? Hindi. Anong purpose ng bakit ka naglalakad? Wala lang. Gusto kong maglakad. Purpose pa rin yun. Gusto niya maglakad. That is his purpose. He wants to walk. That's purpose. Maliban na lang kung may tililing ka sa utak and you do things without any specific purpose. But normal people do things with a purpose. Kaya sinabing, human behavior is purposive. There are specific purposes for things we do. And this is regulated by forethought. Ibig sabihin, it is controlled by things we consider before going something. Bakit ako naglalakad sa tabi ng kalsada? Because my forethought is that if I walk in the middle of the road, I might be hit by a car. Bakit ko binibilis ang maglakad? Kasi malapit nang umulan. Or malapit nang mabilas itong binili kong tulingan. So I walk fast. Bakit ako nag-aral? Kasi may test kami bukas. Merong reason and there is a forethought. Before thought. Nag-iisip muna bago gawin ng isang bagay. Sorry. Hindi yung maglalakad ka ng maglalakad, wala ka namang purpose. Hindi mo pinag-isipan kung paano maglalakad, saan dadaan. Anong gagawin when you reach a specific place? Diba? So there are reasons why we choose a particular task or not. Cognitive processes. Pag nag-isip tayo, binabase natin sa kakayahan nating gumawa ng isang bagay. The purpose we assign to certain actions is determined by our belief about our capability to perform the task. We set goals. Kaya mayroong tinatawag tayong personal goal setting. And that personal goal setting, the goals we set for ourselves, the purposes we set for ourselves, for our actions, is determined by our evaluation, by our appraisal, by our assessment, by our judgment regarding our capabilities or abilities to perform such task. Parang ganito, klaso. Halimbawa ako, estudyante. My self-efficacy beliefs, yung paniniwala ko sa aking kakayahan bilang isang estudyante, is not that high. Pero hindi naman ako, what do you call this? I do not think of myself in a negative way. Hindi naman mababa ang tingin ko sa sarili kong kakayahan, no? I do not consider myself poor academically. But I do not consider myself either as one of the top students. Kumbaga, ako ay average na estudyante lang. Yun ang tingin ko sa sarili kong kakayahan. My self-efficacy belief regarding my academic capability is just average, normal. Just like most other guys, average, normal lang. Hindi napakatalino, hindi rin bobo. ayos lang, nakakapasa naman ako. Ayos lang grades ko. Ayos lang. Pero hindi ako nag-excel na ako ay magiging honor student, magiging top notcher, magiging nasa top 10, yung mga ganun ba? So, that's my belief regarding my ability. Yan ang paniniwala ko sa aking kakayahan. How do I set my goals now as a student? Based on my belief regarding my ability. Tatargetin ko ba na maging valedictorian ako? Will I set that goal for myself? Will I set that personal goal for myself to become valedictorian? Not likely. Hindi siguro kasi nga ang paniniwala ko sa sarili ko in the first place, from the very beginning, I do not have that capability. I do not have that academic ability to become a valedictorian. Yun ang paniniwala ko sa aking kakayahan. And so therefore, I will not make that as my personal goal. So you see, siguro as a student, kung gano'n ang aking self-efficacy, ang magiging thinking ko is, tama na sa akin itong makapasa ko. Huwag lang akong bumagsak sa mathematics, or huwag lang akong bumagsak sa aking mga subjects. Okay na ako, maligaya na ako. Even if I do not become a member of the honor roll, kahit hindi ako makapasok sa top 10, makapasa lang ako, maligaya na ako. This is all I want. This is all I need. Kasi nga, in the first place, I am already thinking, in my mind, I already believe that I do not have that capability of becoming an honor student. Nakasaksak na yun sa otak ko yung aking self-efficacy. Hanggang dito lang ang kaya ko. And that hanggang dito lang ang kaya ko will affect the goals I will set for myself. Yung aking mga personal goals na ibibigay sa sarili ko, doon ko ibabatay. Ibig sabihin, hindi ko hahangaring maging valedictorian kasi nga naniniwala ko, iniisip ko na hindi ko kaya. Di ba? So makapasal ako, okay na ako. So you see, that is how our self-efficacy beliefs influence cognitive processes. At dahil hindi ko naman hinangad na mag-honor student, hindi naman ako mag-aaral lang todo-todo. Basta ang target ko lang ay makapasa, so I will study to the extent that I will think that I will really pass the subject. I will do my homework, I will do projects, I will participate in class recitations to the extent that I will think that I will already pass my subjects. Parang ganito, hindi naman ako mag-honor student, maka-recite lang ako ng 1 sa klase, okay na ako, makita lang ako ni ma'am mag-recite, ay ayos na. So you see, you compare that with somebody who is striving or aiming for honor. Bawa, di pangutana ka pa, ma-recite ka pa. Lahat ng project, excellent dapat ang pagkakagawa. Lahat ng test, dapat perfect. You compare that with a student who is not aiming for honor, makapasar ka to, masadyay ka to. Pila ka pare sa math? 25. Ikaw pare, 25 bro, appear. Ginuya pag mag-inuman itong mga hungang. Di ba? Parehong 75 ka to. Bakit? Pasado Bakit sila maligaya? 75. Kasi nga po, mababa yung self-efficacy beliefs nila. Tingin nila sa sarili nilang kakayahan. Hanggang doon lang talaga. I'm sorry about the word hungang. Hindi ko dapat ginamit yun. Na-carried away. Na-carried away lang po ako ng aking lecture. Kahit ako nag-iisa dito sa aking classroom masaya ako Alam kong kausap ko kayo. Sorry. I should not have used that word. Example lang yun, example lang, pero hindi pa rin dapat. So okay. So let's go back to what I was saying. Which I have already forgotten. Yung cognitive processes, self-efficacy, beliefs, how they affect cognitive processes. So ganun po ang ibig kong sabihin, no? The way we think of ourselves in terms of our capability affects or influences the way we think about setting personal goals and about how we will go about a particular task. Sabi nga dito, the stronger perceived self-efficacy, the higher the goal challenges people set for themselves, and the firmer is their commitment to them. The more we believe that we are capable, the more we believe The more we believe that we can do something, the higher the goal we set for ourselves. Kahit mahirap yung challenge, we take it on. Kasi naniniwala tayong kaya natin. And the higher our self-efficacy beliefs go, the firmer is our commitment. The more that we will be committed to a particular task, the more that we will be committed to finishing or carrying out a particular task, the more that we will be dedicated towards its completion. So, ganun yun. Kasi nga, mataas ang tingin natin sa ating kakayahan. Yan po ang self-efficacy beliefs. And that is how self-efficacy beliefs regulate, influence, affect the way we think. No? Yung ating cognitive processes. Okay. Motivational processes. Papawas na naman. Self-beliefs of efficacy play a key role in the self-regulation of motivation. Most of our motivation is cognitively generated, and people motivate themselves and guide their actions anticipatorily by the exercise of forethought. They form beliefs about what they can do, and they anticipate likely outcomes of prospective actions. So, again, to simplify, just like the way we think, self-efficacy beliefs also influence, the way that self-efficacy beliefs influence or affect the way we think, meaning our cognitive processes, they also affect or influence motivational processes, how we motivate ourselves, how we sustain interest towards a particular task. The higher the self-efficacy beliefs, the more motivated a person becomes towards a task. Because they have very high belief or confidence in their ability to perform a task, they will be more driven, they will be more motivated. There will be a stronger push for them to finish it. Not only to finish, but to do it excellently. No? They can anticipate likely outcomes of prospective actions, meaning they can think in advance. They can think in advance what the result of an action would be. They can anticipate problems. They can even generate solutions to those problems even before they happen. See, that is how self-efficacy beliefs motivate us. And I'm sure you have already experienced this in your schooling, or maybe even in other areas of life. If you know that you are good in something, you are motivated to do it. You have a very high level of interest in doing it, in finishing it, in doing it excellently. No? Parang ganito. Na-obserbahan ko ito sa mga bata. Lalo especially when I was teaching in high school. Alimbawa, yung isang estudyante, he's good in mathematics. So what happens is, he excels in mathematics. What happens further is that he always studies mathematics. Sa ibang subjects na hindi siya nag-excel, nag-study din but not as much as he does in mathematics. Nag-aaral din siya sa ibang subject na English, at saka yung iba. But not the kind of enthusiasm he shows towards mathematics. Talagang gustong-gusto niya yung math. His interest is there, and his ability is there, and so he has a very high self-efficacy beliefs regarding mathematics. He really thinks of himself as good in mathematics. He really thinks of himself as a good mathematician. The result is, he is further motivated to excel in mathematics. Nandun yung kanyang interest, so talagang enjoy niya ang math. Magaling siya sa math. Pagdating sa ibang subjects, nag-aaral din siya, pero yun bang hapaw-hapaw yan kung sa kalatrabanhon. Yung bang makakuha na ng okay na grades. Yun, gano'n. Okay na grades. Hindi napakataas, hindi rin bagsak. Gano'n. Pero pagdating sa math, talagang he exerts full effort in studying mathematics. Kasi nga nandoon yung kanyang motivation. Bakit nandoon yung kanyang motivation? Kasi nga, alam niyang magaling siya doon. Alam niyang he really excels in mathematics. So you see, excuse me. Although some may say that that should not be the attitude. Na siguro magsasabi sa inyo yung iba na dapat nga mag-aaral sa English. Halimbawa, no? More than mathematics kasi magaling na siya sa math. Hindi kasing galing sa English. So dapat ang pag-aaralan niya ay English. Sa inyo yan. Sa kanya ay doon sa enjoy sa math eh. At doon niya napifeel yung pakiramdam na talagang magaling siyang estudyante. Because he really excels in mathematics. So ganun yun. That is how self-efficacy beliefs influence, affect, or regulate motivation. The higher the self-efficacy beliefs regarding a particular task, the higher is the level of motivation towards that task. Siguro, exemption na lang yung people who loves challenges. Kung science, sabi ka lang, nahihirapan ako, ikaw ngayon ang pag-aaralan ko ng todo-todo. There are students who behave that way. No? Merong mga estudyanteng ganun din ang attitude. No? And that is very good. No? Kung din yun. That is still connected with self-efficacy and motivation. Iba lang yung kanyang approach. With regards to mathematics, halimbawa, mayroong isang estudyanteng mahina sa math, lalo niyang pinag-aralan, he is more motivated regarding that subject. Yun ang kanyang, that is how he processes his self-efficacy beliefs and his motivation. Kanya-kanya tayong approach eh. So, what's important to understand here, my dear students, is that self-efficacy beliefs influences, affects, regulates motivation. Afterwards, we will correlate all of this to teaching and learning. Kasi nga, we are in the field of education. Everything we discussed should be related to education. Mamaya, makikita natin how all of these things always lead to teaching and learning. So that's number 2, no? Remember, we're talking about the processes involved in self-efficacy, or how self-efficacy beliefs produce diverse effects in our actions. So meron tayo ditong cognitive processes na discuss na natin. Now this refers to how efficacy beliefs influence or affect our thinking, cognitive. Number 2, yung motivational, how we are motivated, the level of commitment, the level of dedication, the level of interest we devote or give to a particular task, depending on our belief on our abilities. So number 3, we have affective, and number 4, selection process. So let's proceed to the affective processes. Affective processes, people's beliefs in their coping capabilities affect how much stress and depression they experience, threatening or difficult situations, as well as their level of motivation. Affective process, from the word affect. I think I have already mentioned to you before, or maybe even discussed with you before, that affect means emotions. This refers to our feelings, no? Affect means emotion. So affective processes are internal processes pertaining to how we feel, pertaining to our emotions. So, babanggit dito, stress, depression. Where do these things come from? When a person experiences threatening or difficult situations, and he believes that he does not have the capability to overcome such threatening or difficult situations, what's the result? Stress. Sa isip niya kasi hindi niya kayang isolve yung problemang yun eh. So what's the result? Stress. Nasobra at stress, nung result, what's the result? Depression. See? So magmumukmuk sa corner, hindi kakain ng ilang araw, and then afterwards, nako, bibitin-bitin na sa isang corner. See? Affective process. But you compare that with people who have high belief in them, in their ability, in their personal abilities to overcome a problem, to solve a problem, to meet a challenge, to handle a difficult situation or a threatening situation. What happens? Nade-depress ba sila? No, they do not get depressed. They do not they experience stress, but to a very low level. Na-stress ng konti lang. They are not depressed. Why? Because they believe in their ability to solve, to overcome, to handle such difficult situation, to overcome such threatening or challenging situation. Parang yan lang na problema. Kayang-kaya ko yan. Magaling akong tao. Ba't ako madidepress? So you see? Kasi mataas yung kanyang belief sa sarili niya. He has a very high beliefs in his capability. Mataas ang level ng kanyang self-efficacy. So the affective processes, yung mga emotional processes within him behave accordingly. Hindi siya na stress. Yung ibang tao nga gusto may challenges eh. Kasi ito may challenges. Matcha-challenge ako. I will be forced to think. I will be forced to generate solutions for this problem. Maipapakita ko na naman dito kung gaano kagaling na tao ako. So you see, sa halip na ma-stress ay nagyabang pa, natuwa pa. That is how they process the situation in which there is a threatening or difficult situation, but they have very high self-efficacy beliefs. So you see, that is how the affective processes are influenced or affected by self-efficacy beliefs. How they perceive their self-efficacy to exercise control over stressors plays a central role in anxiety arousal. So you see, these people with high self-efficacy beliefs are not stressed because they have that belief in themselves that they can control these things that cause them stress. Kaya ko itong kontrolin, kaya ko itong isolve, kaya ko itong hawakan, i-handle. Hindi ako dapat ma-stress. Magaling akong tao eh. So you see, we always go back to our belief in our own capabilities. We always go back in our confidence in themselves to solve a problem, to do a task, to meet a challenge, to overcome a threatening or difficult situation, to handle obstacles in life. So you see? Kaya may mga expression, kaysa isot na problema kina. Kayang-kaya na ako kina. Katitinik na ako. So you see? Maganda at mataas yung kanyang self-efficacy beliefs. So what happens? Hindi siya na-stress. Tuwang-tuwa pa nga siya pag may problema eh. Kasi he loves challenges. Okay? People who believe they can exercise control over threats do not conjure up disturbing thought patterns. Habang na-stress ang isang tao, habang hinahayaan niyang talunin siya ng kanyang lack of self-confidence in his ability, self-confidence and lack of confidence in his ability, the more the situation becomes frightening. Halimbawa ko, estudyante, napakababa ang aking self-efficacy belief. Halimbawa, I think of myself as a poor learner. Mahina ako talaga. Yun ang tingin ko sa sarili ko. No? That is how low my self-efficacy belief is. So sabi ng teacher, okay class ha, please study this whole chapter, this whole unit. We are going to have a long quiz on Friday. Stress siya kaagad. Kung ano-anong mga threats yung kanyang iisipin, he will conjure up, meaning he will think of threats. He will think of disturbing thought patterns. Nako, parang ganito. May test tayo sa Biyernes, long quiz. Nako, may test na naman. Bagsak na naman ako nito. Kaya panganin na test sa isip niya, bagsak na siya. Kasi nga, mababang confidence niya sa kanyang ability. Bagsak na naman ako nito. Mapapalo na naman ako ni tatay. Mapapagalitan na naman ako ni nanay. So you see, these are threats that he conjures up in his mind. He thinks of these threats. Hindi pa nga nangyayari yung test, hindi pa nga nangyayaring pinapalo siya or pinagagalitan, may stress na siya because he is already thinking of disturbing thought patterns. Mababa ang kanyang self-efficacy belief. Kaya na-stress, ay nasubrahan, depressed ulit. Nasubrahan, nag-quit. He quit schooling, hindi na pumasok. You compare that with somebody who has very good, very high self-efficacy beliefs. Class, mag-aral kayo ng, please study this chapter, please study this unit. We're going to have a long quiz on Friday. Yes, ma'am. Sabi ng bata, mataas yung kanyang confidence sa ability niya. Nako, may test na naman. Bang taas, rekot kali. Baka mag-highest pa ako. Bantinik ako eh. So you see, masasadyan doy kali si tatay ag sinanay. Arugangan kaakbayon. So you see, instead of threats, instead of disturbing thought patterns, he thinks of positive things. He thinks of happy things. So what happens? He feels good. Hindi siya na-stress. He feels good. So yung kanyang emotions, yung kanyang feelings are positively affected by positive self-efficacy beliefs. So you see, that is how our belief in our confidence to do something affects or influence or regulates our behavior, especially with regards to our feelings and emotions towards things, towards tasks, towards threats, towards difficult situations, towards examinations, towards different kinds of activities and experiences and tasks given to us every day, whether it is in school, at home, in the church, in the community, place where we work, wherever, whatever. All of these things are influenced, affected, regulated to a certain extent by our self-efficacy beliefs. They are all affected and influenced by our belief in our ability to perform. Okay, selection process. The selection process refers to the kind of activities or tasks we engage in. Yung pagpili ba kung ano ang gagawin. Pagpili kung ano ang sasalihang mga activities. People are partly the product of their environment. Now, we have already mentioned this many times before. We are a product of our environment. We are a product of our emotions. And so, our self-efficacy can influence the type of activities that we will choose for ourselves. Ano ang magiging tendency natin? Halimbawa, mataas ang aking self-efficacy beliefs, meaning I have very high confidence in my ability to do things. Ano ang magiging epekto niyon sa akin in terms of choosing or selecting things that I will do? Ang magiging epekto nun sa akin, I will choose activities, I will choose things to do that are challenging. That things that will present a certain level of difficulty. Kasi nga alam kong magaling ako eh. naniniwala akong magaling ako. And so therefore, if I encounter a task that will require a certain level of complexity, that will present pala, hindi require, that will present a certain level of difficulty or a certain level of complexity, I will take it on. I will not avoid it. I will not run from it. Pipiliin ko siya. I will choose it. I will select it as one of the things I will do for today. Bakit? Kasi nga, naniniwala akong kaya ko siya. Because I think of myself as somebody who is magaling. I think of myself as somebody who is capable. So you see, people avoid, people avoid activities and situations they believe exceed their coping capabilities. So you see, people with high self-efficacy beliefs prefer challenging activities. They like challenges. They love difficulties because they see these things, they see these tasks as opportunities to test their capability and to show that they can do these tasks. You see? So during the selection process, ang pipiliin nila dyan ay yung mga mahihirap na activities. Activities that will present challenges or difficulties. Kung mababa ang self-efficacy beliefs, ang tingin sa sarili, mahina. Siyempre, pipiliin activities yung mga madali. Tingin niya sa sarili, mahina siya eh. See? Ma'am, hindi ako sasali sa essay writing contest. Hindi naman ako marunong magsulat eh. O sige, huwag ka na lang sumali kung yan ang gusto mo. Anong gusto mong gawin? Buknoy, ma'am, magwawalis na lang. Magwawalis na lang ako dun sa ating ground. Yun lang ang kaya ko, ma'am, magwalis. Nako, ikaw talaga buknoy. O sige, magwalis ka kung yun ang gusto mo. So you see, ang pinili niya magwalis. Because that is the kind of activity that he thinks he can do. He thinks that his capability to do things is only up to that level. Pero yung naniniwala sa kanilang galing, ma'am ako, sasala ko sa essay writing contest or sa kahit anong contest. Basta yung medyo challenging. Okay, so, according to social cognitive theorists, feelings of efficacy affect people's behavior, including ito yung mga naaapektuhan ng self-efficacy beliefs. Ako, ito yung didiscuss lang natin Beto. So, self-efficacy beliefs, ulit-ulitin natin, self-efficacy beliefs are our beliefs. Yung paniniwala natin sa ating sarili to do a task. Goals, effort and persistence, learning, achievement. Okay. I think I have already discussed this, Choice of activities. This looks familiar. Teka, baka nagkamala ko sa pag-arrange ng mga slides. Hindi pala. Nagkataon lang na magkahawig sila, Choice of activities. So, let us talk about this class. How self-efficacy affects behavior. So, paano daw yung paniniwala natin sa ating kakayahan nakaka-influence or nakaka-apekto sa ating behavior? So, self-efficacy beliefs affect our behavior, including our choice of activities, goals, effort, and persistence, learning, achievement. So, let's talk about this. First is choice of activities. So, kasabi ko lang kanina, we tend to choose tasks and activities at which we believe we can succeed. Meron bang taong pipili ng isang bagay na gagawin niya yung alam na niyang, in the very first place, at the very beginning, alam na niyang mag-feel siya doon. Well, maybe to some people who really love very, very difficult challenges, trip lang niya, they might do that. But generally speaking, no, we tend to choose activities, we tend to engage in activities in which we know we have great chances, good chances of succeeding. Yung alam natin na magagawa natin. And conversely, we tend to avoid, iniwasan natin yung mga activities which we think we will fail in doing. Pag alam natin na mag-fail tayo sa isang bagay na ganito, if we believe, we may not be sure, but if we believe that we will fail at a particular task, ay bakit pa natin siya gagawin? Halimbawa, singing contest. Halimbawa ako, mayroong singing contest. Alam kong kaliwete ang aking boses. Alam kong hindi naman ako marunong kumanta. Why will I join the contest? I will only embarrass myself in front of the public. So why will I do that? Ang pipiliin ko, ang i-choose ko na mga activities ay yung alam ko. Something that I know I'm good at. Halimbawa, magaling ko sa drawing. Doon ako sasali sa drawing contest. Hindi doon sa singing contest. You see? Those who believe they can succeed at mathematics is more likely to take mathematics courses than students who believe that they are mathematically incompetent. Engineering. Sino mga kumukuha ng engineering? Those students who believe in their capability to do math. Yung mga estudyanteng hindi naniniwala sa kanilang kakayahan sa mathematics, halimbawa ang mentalidad niya, his thinking is, mahina ako sa math. Kukuha pa ba siya ng engineering? Hindi na, no? Iiwas ngayon sa kurso na maraming math. Kukunin niya yung kurso na walang math or meron pang program na walang math. Wala yata. So, ang pipiliin niya yung pinakakonti ang mathematics because he knows that he will encounter very challenging difficulties when he takes up engineering. Naniniwala kasi siya na wala siyang capability to perform very complex mathematical computations. Mahina talaga siya sa math. That is what he has in his mind. And so therefore, he will avoid engineering. Yun namang naniniwala sa kanyang sarili na magaling sa mathematics, papuntang engineering. So you see, choice of courses, choice of programs, choice of activities, all of these things are influenced or affected by our ability to perform, by our ability to do. But that's what we call self-efficacy, no? Yung ating paniniwala sa ating kakayahan. And to summarize this part, yung paniniwala sa ating kakayahan na yon, it affects, it influence, nakaka-apekto siya sa ating pagpili kung ano ang gagawin. Our self-efficacy beliefs influence or affect our choice of activities. Also, our goals. Sabi nga natin kanina, if I believe that I have the capability to do something, to do things because I'm good, then I will set higher goals for myself. I will aim for more difficult tasks. I will aim for more challenging tasks because I have that belief in my capability. Ganon ang mga tao. People who have high self-efficacy think and believe and behave. They choose, they set higher goals for themselves. Alam nila kasing magaling sila eh. So makakaya nila. Example natin. Adolescents' choice of careers and occupational levels reflect subject areas in which they have a higher rather than low self-efficacy. Their choices are often consistent with traditional gender stereotypes. So, yung mga goals, yung mga layunin, yung mga adhikain sa buhay that we give ourselves, that we set for ourselves, things we aim for, kung ano ang ating tatargetin sa buhay, All of these things are influenced or affected or determined to a large extent by our belief in our ability to fulfill those goals. Ganon yun. Bakit sir mayroong mga mahina sa math na napupunta sa engineering? Kasi nga'y mataas ang kanilang belief sa kanilang sarili to do math, which does not automatically translate to actual ability. Hindi porket mataas ang tingin ko sa sarili ko na magaling ako sa math, na kaya ko ang math, ay magaling na nga ako at kaya ko. Pwede kong maniwala na ako ang pinakamagaling sa mathematics sa klase natin, pero hindi naman totoo. Yun pala, guni-guni ko lang. But that is how I believe. So that becomes my self-efficacy belief, which in turn will influence or affect my behavior. So the point we are trying to make here, class, is that our self-efficacy beliefs influence or affect what kind of goals we set for ourselves. Pag naniniwala tayong magaling tayo, we set higher goals. Pag naniniwala tayong hindi tayo magaling sa isang bagay, we set lower goals. It's as simple as that, no? Then, what's this? Boys are more likely to have self-efficacy for and so aspire for careers in science and technology. Ito yung binabanggit sa previous slide na gender stereotype. Generally daw, mga lalaki mahilig sa science and technology. Yung mga girls, kasi doon daw nila nararamdaman na magaling sila, no? Science and technology. Girls, on the other hand, feel more efficacious, meaning they feel more capable about careers in education, health, social services, yung mga pambabae talaga, no? Kaya pala maraming mga babae sa education. Kaya pala maraming babae sa health and social services. Pero sabi nga natin ito ay gender stereotype. Mga kwan lang ito, mga nakasanayan. Bakit? Sa education, hindi naman puro babae. Marami ring lalaki. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng lahat pumunta sa science and technology. We do not have the aptitude. We do not have the what to call this? The academic proficiency to pursue programs in science and technology. Hindi naman lahat ay magaling sa mathematics. So yung iba napupunta sa health, yung iba sa social services, babae at lalaki. Yung iba naman na sabi nila, mga trabahong pambabae, panlalaki. Wala nang ganyan ngayon. Lahat ng trabaho ng lalaki, pinapasok na ng babae. Babaeng sundalo, babaeng astronaut, babaeng piloto, babaeng boksingero. Lahat yan, pasok na nila. So wala na yung mga stereotypes na yan. So yun, no? Then next, we have effort and persistence. Sino sa palagay nyo ang mas mag-spend ng effort? Which one do you think will be more persistent, more dedicated, more committed, more desirous to finish a task? Yung mataas ang self-efficacy beliefs o yung mababa? Correct. Siyempre yung mga matataas ang self-efficacy beliefs, no? People with self-efficacy, with high sense of self-efficacy beliefs are more likely to exert effort in attempting to accomplish tasks. Mataas ang belief nila sa kanilang kakayahan. So they believe that they can finish the task. So what happens? They stick to it until they finish it. They don't stop until the task is finished. If they encounter problems, they generate solutions for those problems. If they encounter threatening situations, difficult situations, they try to overcome those threatening or difficult situations. So you see, ay kung mababa ang confidence sa ability, konting problema, ayoko na, surrender na ako. Uwi na ako, matanong niya ikot kamote. You see? Students with low self-efficacy about a task put less effort into it and give it up more quickly in the face of difficulty. Bang hirap lang ato, thesis, Brad. Hindi ako'y, madrapi ako'y. mababa yung kanyang self-efficacy. You compare that with somebody who believes in his ability to finish the thesis. Kayang-kaya natin ito. Tatapusin natin ito. We will not stop. We will finish this. And we will get flat 1 for this thesis. Magagaling tayo. Kaya natin ito. So tatapusin natin. We will spend more effort. We will be very persistent in finishing this thesis. And we can do it because we are good. So you see, ganun ang reaction ng isang taong mataas ang kanyang self-efficacy beliefs. So you see, that is how self-efficacy beliefs affect or influence effort and persistence. Ay sa learning and environment. Sino sa learning and environment? Learning and achievement. Tanong ulit. Who do you think will have better or greater achievement in terms of learning? Yung mataas ang self-efficacy beliefs, yung mababa. Well, naturally, kung mataas ang iyong self-efficacy beliefs, meaning you have very high confidence in your ability to finish a task and to perform academically well, then the more you will achieve. In other words, when several students have equal ability, those students who believe they can do a task are more likely to accomplish it successfully than those who do not believe they are capable of success. Let me explain this further. Through example, may dalawang estudyante. So we have Juan and we have Pedro. They have the same or equal intelligence. They have the same or equal, the same level of academic proficiency. Pareho sila ng level ng talino sa school. Saan sila nagkaiba? Nagkaiba sila sa self-efficacy beliefs. Si Pedro, mataas yung kanyang self-efficacy beliefs. He really believes in himself. He really believes in his ability or capability to do things, to do tasks. Si Juan, mababa lang ang kanyang self-efficacy beliefs. I don't know how that happened, but magkasintalino lang sila ni Pedro eh. Siguro, based from his experiences, magkaiba sila ng experiences, no? Sa family ni Pedro, very supportive kay Pedro. So, na-enhance yung kanyang self-efficacy beliefs. Talagang nasaksak sa utak niya na magaling siya. Si Juan naman, hindi ganun ka-supportive yung kanyang family. Tay, may project po. Anong project rin hinugay ba ka? Bakay pa nga na ako, orsos na hinugay ka. O nagpapaturo ng assignment. Tay, rin, nasaan po itong Bermuda Triangle? Nung Bermuda, tanungin mo ang nanay mo, siya ang nagtatago ng mga gamit natin dito sa bahay. Imagine that. Magpinungkataan ako naman. Hindi ko alam. So, going back to our example, two students, equal or the same intelligence, academic capability, equal, pareho, but different self-efficacy beliefs. Magkaibang level ng self-efficacy. Si Pedro mataas, si Juan mababa. According to studies, kahit daw yung dalawang estudyante, dalawang pupils magkapareho yung self-efficacy, academic proficiency, magkasintalino, yung may mataas na self-efficacy beliefs, he will tend to excel, he will tend to achieve more in school, he will tend to achieve better academically. Kesa doon sa pupil na mababa ang self-efficacy beliefs, magkasintalino yan, magkasinggaling. So you see, that is how self-efficacy influences learning. Kasi na yung kanyang motivation, yung kanyang commitment, yung kanyang dedication, yung kanyang effort, yung kanyang persistence, all of these things will be affected by their self-efficacy beliefs. At dahil mataas yung isa, natural, puro positive ang epekto doon. So, the end result is, the final result, good or excellent academic performance. Although magkasing talino lang silang dalawa. All right, let's talk about these factors in the development of self-efficacy. Okay, previous successes and failures. Remember, we're talking about the different factors in the development of self-efficacy. Ano-anong mga bagay ang nakaka-influence, nakaka-epekto sa pag-develop ng ating self-efficacy? Saan yan ang gagaling? Bakit may mababa? Bakit may mataas? Bakit iba-iba? What factors influence the development of self-efficacy? Number one is previous successes and failures. The more we succeed, the more we get positive results or good results at something, the more we become confident of doing it. When we have succeeded in doing something, we will be more confident at doing it again, or we will be more confident to do similar tasks. Yan. That is how previous successes and failures determine or contribute to the development of self-efficacy. Halimbawa, pinagawa ng project. Halimbawa, lantern. Palagi yan sa school namin, basta magki-Christmas. Okay, class, ang susunod nating project ay lantern. Sige, lantern. Christmas eh. Yung isang estudyante, mangganda to the lantern. Mangganda talaga. Yung isa naman, hindi gaano. Medyo pangit pa nga eh. Saan doon sa dalawa, do you think, will be more interested to make a lantern again? Saan sa kanilang dalawa which of the two students will be more confident to make a lantern and present it to the teacher and to the class next Christmas, pag lantern ulit ang project? Siyempre yung successful. Kasi nagawa na niya, nag-succeed na siya, he has already shown to the world that he can make a very good, very beautiful lantern. And so therefore, the next time a lantern is required, he will be more confident to engage himself in the task. Lantern lang, kayang-kaya ko yan. Last year na, pinakamaganda yung sa akin eh. So you see, previous success. Yun namang isang bata, previous failure. Nako, lantern na naman, ay itong santo ay gani, sa tiye, balibang ni Ma'am Tako, lantern. So you see, Ma'am, hindi pa pwedeng kumanta na lang ako ng jingle bells. Hindi pwede. Gawa tayo ng lantern. Ang lantern tayo. So you see, previous successes and failures determine or contribute to the development of self-efficacy. The more we succeed, the more we do well at something, the more we become confident at doing it again or doing similar tasks. Conversely, if we fail at the more we fail at something, the less and less we become confident to do it again or to perform similar tasks. Nag-fail na eh. Okay, then we have excuse me. Next, messages that others communicate. How do the people around us react or respond to what we do? Yan ang pinakasama rin niya. How are they affected by the result of things we do? How do they respond? How do they react? What are the messages that they communicate to us regarding what we have done, regarding the things that we have shown? Parang ganito lang, napakasimple. Individual singing, sa music, sa klase, sa classroom. So, kanta ka. After the song, the reaction is very positive. Palakpakan, wow, manggaling. Next time na may individual singing, the next time you will need to perform in front of the class, you will be more confident to present. Halimbawa, kakanta, you will be more confident to sing. Because you have already seen how people reacted. You have already seen that your classmates responded positively to your singing. You saw that they liked the way you sing. And so therefore, this second time, you will be more confident. Kakanta na naman ako. Magugustuhan na naman nila ito. Kasi magaling kumanta eh. You see? You compare that with another student. Individual singing, required siya. Pag hindi siya kumanta, wala siyang grade. Bagsak siya, hindi siya graduate. Individual singing, ay di kumanta. Pangsasyaag, panglilibag, paririin kag tono, bangginoy at mga classmates. Bangginoy, pati teacher, hindi na itago yung kanyang pagkatuwa. Tawa ng tawa. Next time. Class, exam ulit natin sa music ha. Individual singing na naman tayo. Magiging confident pa ba yun kumanta? Napahiya na. So you see, mababa yung kanyang self-confidence ngayon, mababa na ang kanyang self-efficacy because of the messages that others communicate. Nakantyawan, bang tao ka talag kantamen. Madupat nagtumbling ka. So you see, pero kung very supportive, no? I know you can do better next time. Magaling ka, Brad, kulang ka lang sa practice. Maganda yung boses mo, medyo pagod ka lang, medyo wala ka sa kondisyon. Pero pag ikaw nag-practice, magaling kang kumanta. Talaga, magaling ka. Tuturuan kita, alika. Magiging positive ulit yung kanyang self-efficacy because of the message, because of the positive message given to him by the people around him. Wala yun, tayo lang naman. Miss ka naglibag ka at may suot. Kailan niya? Next time, bawi ka na lang galingan mo susunod. Papasa tayo dito. So you see? The messages are positive. So the messages that other people, the people around us communicate to us, the message that they send to us regarding our performance influences or affects our self-efficacy beliefs. The success and failures of others. Kapag nakita natin na nag-succeed yung others, yung iba, we will be more confident. Nakaya ng group nila yung thesis. Tayo din, kaya natin ito. Pareho lang naman tayo ng mga abilities. So you see? The same thing happens when another group fails. Naku, bagsak yung group ni na Pedro. Otragis ito. Inaambitan niya rin kita tayo. Kung sila ay bagsak, baka bumagsak din tayo. So you see, their confidence in themselves, their belief in their ability to do or perform a task is affected by what they saw in other groups. If they see other groups succeed, then they will have that belief that they will also succeed. Because they have just similar academic proficiency level. Magkahawig sila ng talino, magkahawig ng galing na kaya nila. Therefore, kaya din natin. That's the reasoning, kumbaga. Kung nag-fail, magpe-fail din tayo nito. Magkapareho tayo ng levels magkahawig pa ng problem. Fail din tayo nito. Mawawala na ngayon yung kanilang self-efficacy belief. Bababa na. Mawawala yung confidence. Ay lalo nga nang bumagsak kasi nagpangsasyagay kayo na performance at presentation. So you see? Okay. Success and failures of the group as a whole. If the group has succeeded in the past, then the individual members will be more confident to engage in the same or similar task again. Para bang halimbawa, a group of 10 members, thesis ulit. Yung iba magandang pagkakapresent. Yung iba ay hindi. But as a group, mataas ang kanilang grade. Kasi overall score nila, pagsasama-samahin yun Iba ang nag-present ng data, iba ang nag-present ng statistics, iba ang nag-present ng introduction, iba ang nag-present ng ibang chapters, blah blah blah. Magandang statistics, magandang introduction, nagpangsasya, panglilibag kag say, methodology. So sa part ng methodology, mababa ang grade. But, doon sa ibang parts, matataas naman. So if you get the average, mataas pa rin, pasado pa rin. So, some of the members of the group might have failed, but as a group, as a whole, they succeeded. Next time that they have an activity, a group activity, the individual members will still be confident to engage in the task. Kasi nga alam nila na they might have some weaknesses individually, As individual members, they might have some weaknesses, but as a group, they are strong. They are strong. So the successes and failures of the group as a whole also influence or affect the individual members' self-efficacy beliefs. Merong nagwawali sa labas. I don't know kung napipick up ng microphone at inyong naririnig. Basta, yung tunog na yan, mayroong nagwawali sa labas. So, yun ang pangapat, success and failures of the group as a whole. So, remember, ang pinag-uusapan natin ay how self-efficacy affects behavior. So, review natin para hindi makalimutan. The first is, factors in the development of self-efficacy. Ano yung mga nagko-contribute sa ating self-efficacy? Bakit may mababa? Bakit may mataas? Bakit may katamtaman lang? Bakit ganon? What are the reasons? Ito sila. Previous successes and failures, which we have already discussed. Messages that others communicate. Successes and failures of others. And successes and failures of the group as a whole. Okay. So as already mentioned, the self-efficacy beliefs of a person can have an impact, meaning it can have a profound or deep effect on things we do, from psychological states to behavior to motivation. And our belief in our own ability to succeed plays a role in how we think, how we act, and how we feel about our place in the world. Ito yung sinasabi natin na kanina na mga cognitive processes, affective processes. Self-efficacy also determines what goals we choose to pursue, how we go about accomplishing those goals, and how we reflect upon our own performance. We have already discussed this now. The higher the self-efficacy beliefs, the higher the goals we set for ourselves. We aim for challenging tasks. We aim for tasks that we think will present a certain level of difficulty. Iyon ang mga epekto nila sa ating personal goal setting and how we go about accomplishing those goals and how we reflect upon our own performance. So you see? So napakahalaga talaga yung self-efficacy beliefs. And because self-efficacy beliefs affect or influence all areas of our lives, meaning in everything we do, naturally, this also affects academic performance of students. Kasama yun sa mga ginagawa natin dito sa mundo mag-aral, magturo. So, pati sila sakop ng self-efficacy. Apektado ng self-efficacy. Okay, so let us proceed. People with a strong sense of self-efficacy, yung mga matataas ang belief sa sarili, First, they develop deeper interest in the activities in which they participate. Because they have strong motivation towards the task, they have a stronger interest, they have a deeper interest in the activities in which they participate. They believe in themselves, they have that belief in their mind that they can do this, that they can perform this. So there's that deeper interest, there's that stronger motivation to join, to participate, and to see it through until its completion. Tinatapos talaga yung mga activities nila. They do not surrender, they do not stop, they do not quit. Kasi nga, mataas ang level ng kanilang commitment, mataas ang level ng dedication, mataas ang level ng motivation. And then, okay, this is almost similar to what I have just said. They form stronger sense of commitment to their interests and activities. Stronger sense of commitment, yung kanilang dedikasyon, yung kanilang commitment sa ginagawa, hindi basta-basta nawawala. Because of the belief that they can do it. No? Para bang sayang lang naman kung hindi ko ito tatapusin, total, kaya ko naman. Magaling naman ako. Yan. Kaya kailangan tapusin ko ito. If there are setbacks, if there are problems, if there are disappointments, if there are challenges, and they experience some disappointment or frustrations, they quickly recover. They do not allow themselves to be defeated by those setbacks and disappointments. They fight, they overcome those challenges, they overcome those disappointments and difficulties, and again, they succeed not only in finishing the task, but they succeed in doing it excellently, in doing it well. They view challenging problems as tasks to be mastered. Pag medyo mahina na ang self-efficacy beliefs, ang tingin sa challenging problems ako hindi ito kaya. Mahirap yan mahina lang ako But if you have strong self-efficacy beliefs, they will be seen as challenges that need to be mastered. Mahirap itong mathematics pero kaya ko itong pag-aralan at i-master. Magaling ako Yan. Let us compare those we have just discussed now with people with a weak sense of self-efficacy beliefs. Pag mahina naman or mababa ang self-efficacy beliefs, this is what they do. They avoid challenging tasks. Pag mahirap yan, iwas tayo dyan, ilag tayo, takas tayo. Hirap yan mahina tayo. They avoid challenging tasks. They are afraid of challenging tasks. They believe that difficult tasks and situations are beyond their capabilities. Kaya natatakot, kaya umiiwas because they believe that they cannot do it. They believe that the task is beyond their capabilities. Hindi nila kaya, so ayun, takas, iwas. They focus on personal failings and negative outcomes. Ang iniisip palagi ay, we will fail here. Kasi in the past, gumawa ko ng ganyan, talpak Kaya ngayon, sigurado, I will palpak again. And there will be negative outcomes. Negative thinker yung mga taong mababang self-efficacy beliefs. They focus on the negative results or negative outcomes. So, what happens is that what they really get is negative outcome. Yun ang iniisip Nakasaksak agad sa kanilang utak that they will get negative outcomes. They will fail, ganun. So, anong nangyayari? Yung iniisip nilang nangyayari, they fail. Excuse me. Excuse me. I have been speaking for more than 2 hours already at nagpaparamdam ng aking vocal cords. Let's continue. People with a weak sense of self-efficacy quickly lose confidence in personal abilities. Okay. They lose confidence in personal abilities. Madaling mawala ng tiwala or nawawalan kaagad ng tiwala sa kanilang sarili at sa kanilang sariling kakayahan. So, their poor or low self-efficacy beliefs are reinforced. Lalong tumitibay yung kanilang paniniwala na mahina sila. Kaya tingnan pare, lowest try ako sa mathematics, bobo talaga. Nare-reinforce yung negative belief about the self, about himself. No? Kasi nga, very defeatist yung kanyang attitude Very pessimistic. He focuses, he lives on the negative side of things. So ayan, ang mga ginagawa ng mga taong may weak sense of self-efficacy. Iwasan natin itong mga ito, mga kapatid. Let us focus on this. Dito tayo mag-focus. Yan ang maganda. These are the things that we should develop in ourselves and in our learners, in our pupils, in our students. Let us proceed. Okay, tapos na ito, no? How does self-efficacy develop? Paano nagde-develop? First is mastery experiences. The more we master something, the more we practice and the more we feel that we are doing something already good, the more we are confident. No, the more we are confident about the task. Performing a task successfully strengthens our sense of self-efficacy. Halimbawa, sa school, sa elementary, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, halimbawa, multiplication table. Habang na-memorize ni Ining at ni Utoy ang table of 3, table of 4, table of 5, table of 6, the more he becomes confident to continue and memorize table of 7, table of 8, table of 9. Kasi successful siya sa mga naunang tables eh. So the more he succeeds, the more he becomes confident that he can do the job of memorizing the entire multiplication table. Mastery experiences. Eh kung nahirapan sa una, 1 times 2 equals 1 times 2. 1 times 2. Okay, kinabalibangon ka na ako at liwagala. Hindi ako marunong eh. 1 pa lang yun. Ay, table 2, table 3. Hanggang makarating siya ng table 7, surrender na. Ayaw ko na, mahirap ang multiplication. Hindi na ako mag-aaral na, mag-asawa na lang ako grade 1. Anong nangyari? Mag-asawa nga. Master experiences. Jokes lang. Master experiences. Halimbawa, in playing an instrument, the more you practice a particular instrument, the more you master some chords, some rhythms. Habang dumarami yung nalalaman mo, the more you become confident of learning more. The more you become confident of performing before other people. Kasi marami ka nang namamaster. Kung wala ka pang alam, anong i-present mo? How will you become confident in performing? And you experience difficulty in forming even the most basic chords. So sabi ko, nako, dito pa lang sa basic. Hirap na ako. Paano pa kayo? Yung mga sustain, yung mga augmented. Ayoko na mag-gitara. Matanim niya ikot kamote. So ayun, nagtanim siya ng kamote. Ang dami na niyang tanim na kamote ngayon. Kasi kuman pasidat katatanom it kamote. Ang dami na niyang kamote. Okay. Jokes ulit. Mastery experiences. So ganun yung class ha. The more we master something, the more we become confident of going on. The more we become confident of doing the same task or similar tasks. Alam nating nagagawa natin na-master na yung mga nauna eh. Then social modeling. Witnessing other people successfully completing a task is another important source of self-efficacy. According to Bandura, seeing people similar to oneself succeed by sustained effort raises observers' beliefs that they too possess the capabilities to master comparable activities to succeed. Ito yung sinasabi natin kanina na pag nakakita tayo ng isang tao, when we see somebody with similar abilities such as ours, halimbawa ako, nakakita ko ng isang tao with similar abilities. Meaning, class, ang tingin ko ay magkasinggaling kami, pareho kami ng alam. And he succeeds in doing something. Nagawa niya ang isang bagay na medyo mahirap. Hindi ko pa nagagawa. Susubok pa lang ako. Anong magiging tendency ko? To be confident or not? My tendency is to be confident of my ability to perform the task. Kasi nga, ang basihan ko ay yung performance ng isang tao who I think has the same capabilities as I do. Ang tingin ko sa taong yon, ang tingin ko sa sarili ko, ay kasing galing nung taong yon. And that person was able to do the job successfully. And so therefore, my tendency, my logical reasoning is, na kaya nga niya, siguradong kaya ko rin. Kasi ay, magkasing galing lang kami. Hay? Sabihin mo yan sa sarili mo magkasing, Parehos kami katutayo lamang panganay ko to sang kalaikos. Magagawa ko rin yung ginawa niya. Yan ang tinatawag na social modeling. Then social perception. Ano ang reaction sa atin ng tao sa palibot natin? Yan. Parang yung kanina, yung messages communicated to us by other people. Remember, we're talking about how does self-efficacy develop, So first is mastery, experiences. The more we master something, the more we become confident of doing it. Then social modeling, seeing people with similar capabilities do things, magiging confident. Then tayo na kaya natin gawin dahil nga nakaya nila and we have just the same capabilities. Ito ang pang-tatlo. Social persuasion. The reaction, the messages we get from people will help develop in us high self-efficacy beliefs. So for example, we get verbal encouragement from others. It will enhance our self-efficacy beliefs even if we do not really do good at something. Halimbawa, exam. Hindi kataasan yung score natin, yung grade. But if we get verbal encouragement from our classmates, Brad, kon lang yan. Natsambahan lang na wala ka sa kondisyon. But if you really study, I know that you can pass that examination. So you see, study tayo, aral tayo, para next time mabawi natin. Kaya natin yan. So you see, there is support, there is verbal encouragement. So next time, because of that social persuasion, yung pang-iinganyo, panghihikayat, pag-encourage ng mga tao sa palibot natin, malaki ang epekto noon sa ating self-efficacy beliefs. But if you get negative verbal response from the people around you, then naturally that will really smash our self-efficacy beliefs to the ground. O tingnan mo yan, bagsakan naman, bobo ka talaga. Sinong sisipagin nga mag-aral niyan? Sinong magkaka-interest na mag-excel? Sinasaksak niyo sa utak ko na bobo ako, pangatawanan ko na bobo ako. Karamihan pa naman ng bobo na nanuntok. Lalayo na sila sa iyo kasi baka masuntok. Jokes ulit, jokes. So social persuasion. The reaction, the messages, the responses that we get from the people around us, they all affect our self-efficacy beliefs. That's the point there. Then psychological responses. Our own responses and emotional reactions to situations also play an important role in self-efficacy. Sometimes our own reactions exert a stronger or more profound effect on our self-efficacy. Yung sarili nating mga nararamdaman, psychological responses. Halimbawa, you are required to speak before a crowd, before the public. What is our psychological response? Biglang ninervyos. So naturally, the self-efficacy beliefs will be affected. We may develop a weak sense of self-efficacy. Kasi ninervyos na. Yung kanyang emotional reaction is, he gets nervous. So, he will now lose or tend to lose his confidence to speak before that crowd because of that reaction of being nervous. And because he is very nervous, mababa ang self-efficacy. At dahil bumaba yung kanyang self-efficacy belief, lalo siyang nenervyusin. Sabi ulit ay, mutual influence. They affect each other. Moods, emotional states, physical reactions, and stress levels can all impact how a person feels about their personal abilities in a particular situation. You are about to perform before a class kasi individual singing ulit. Kapag natawagan ni teacher ay panggagaosay ka, you are already profusely perspiring. Paano ka pang magkaka-confidence? Pawis na pawis ka na, nervous pa. Wala na lalong confidence. So, our own psychological responses. It is not the sheer intensity of emotional and physical reactions that is important, but rather how they are perceived and interpreted. Hindi naman yung nervous mismo ang problema, kundi paano ang pagkaka-perceive doon sa nervousness, no? Halimbawa, there are people who feel nervous before a performance. Pero sabi niya sa sarili niya, nervous ako, pero natural lang ito. Maganda nga itong ninervyos para alert ako. I will be awake, alive, and enthusiastic. See? So, it's not the emotion or the intensity that's important, but how we perceive it. Halimbawa, pinagpapawisan, pawis lang naman ito. Ganito talaga kasi mainit ang panahon. So, pag-interpret niya, kapag ang kanyang interpret, if he interprets that experience of perspiring that way, then his self-efficacy beliefs may not suffer. So, if he interprets that experience of perspiring in a negative way, naku, pinagpapawisan ako, nervous ako, malibag ako kali, then his self-efficacy beliefs will be adversely or negatively affected, and finally or ultimately, his performance will be affected. Sinaksak niya sa utak na mawawala siya sa tono. What will happen? Most likely, mawawala talaga siya sa tono. Because he has not yet even started to sing, and he's already telling himself that he will be out of tune. What happens? He will really be out of tune. So you see? So how do we avoid that? We minimize stress. We convince ourselves that we can do it. We are good. More than good enough. We can do it well. And we elevate the mood. Let us enjoy the moment. Kung exam. Kung performance. Kung individual singing. Kung trabaho sa school, let us enjoy it so that our mood will be elevated. Instead of seeing the experience as something frightening and something threatening, something challenging, let us view it, or let us look at it, let us consider it as a source of excitement, as a challenge, as a source of entertainment even. Fun. And this is fun. Wow! Magtatrabaho kami sa bukid. This is fun. All of these things can improve our sense of self-efficacy. All right. So, to emphasize the importance of self-concept, remember, this video is just a continuation of our discussion on self-concept. Then, in this video, we discussed self-efficacy. And so, therefore, these two constructs, these two concepts, these two terminologies are very, very important in the field of education, particularly in the area of learning and even teaching. Because teachers also need positive self-concept and high self-efficacy beliefs, not only students. So the whole point here, kaya natin ito pinag-usapan, the whole reason why we discussed this is for us to understand the importance of self-concept and self-efficacy, particularly positive or desirable self-concept and high self-efficacy beliefs among our students. Why? What's the point? For us to remember this. It's part of our jobs as teachers to create a classroom or a learning environment that promotes positive self-concept and self-efficacy. Now we know that self-concept that positive self-concept and the positive or high self-efficacy lead to good or excellent academic performance. It is now incumbent upon us, meaning it becomes our responsibility to create a classroom, to create a learning environment in which positive self-concept and positive self-efficacy among our learners will be promoted or advocated. Meaning the classroom, the learning environment, should be a place for our learners where they can develop or acquire or have a positive self-concept and high self-efficacy beliefs. How do we do that? We have already discussed those things in our previous slides. Nadaanan natin yan lahat. Definition of self-concept, description of self-concept, definition and description of self-efficacy, their importance or value in the field of education, how they are developed, and how these things can be promoted or advocated or realized inside our classrooms. That's the whole point of our discussion pertaining to self-concept and self-efficacy. Diyan po nagtatapos ang ating lecture video. I hope that you have learned something from this presentation. We will temporarily end here. Of course, we still have some topics to discuss. Meron pa tayong natitirang 2 weeks for cluster 1, no? Kindly just check from time to time our GC. I will post there all updates or new developments. I will inform the class right away whatever it is that you need to be informed about. I will tell you about the next videos and the next uploads in our group chat. So that will be all for now. Goodbye to everybody, and see you again next time. Ingat tayo lahat, no? Ingat lahat. Let us all still stay safe. And God bless everyone.